I'm Lotta from Lunakills.
I'm Samuli.
I'm Lassi.
And you're watching Grim TV.
To start with, how are you guys doing today?
Fine, thank you. It's been very windy and chaotic day, but other than that, very nice.
Well, Helsinki is known as the windy city of Finland. Now, Lunakills, to be honest, I hadn't heard of you before, before your recent singles.
Yeah.
I'm guessing there's going to be quite a few people that haven't heard of you guys, so I was hoping you could shortly introduce the band, how did you guys get together and what's your mission?
Well, we actually, with Samuli, we got together in 2015 or 16 or something like that. Yeah. And we actually started under a different name. We went with Tokornol, and it was like piece of work, that name. So we changed it 2019 to Lunakills, but we went a lot of years under that. So probably that's why we're also a little bit new. Some people may have heard of us when we went to Kernel, but we're not that big band, so yeah. And Lassi joined us in 2017.
Yeah.
It's it's no secret that we have had multiple lineup changes. We had 2 bass players before Lassi, and we have had 2 drummers and yeah. So it's how us 3 got together is pretty boring. Lassi was very great at playing bass and he looked good on stage, so we let him stay. We're actually cousins, so we knew each other. And our mission is to bring joy and music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joy, definitely.
Our
album's name is
not to be bitter about it else.
Just bringing joy to people.
Yeah, rock music, okay?
Yeah,
Rock
okay.
music.
Yeah, I see it now.
And why Lunakills? I mean, it's an easier name, but why Lunakills?
Yeah, we had one major criteria when we were choosing the next name, and it was to be easily pronounced by Finnish people, because we heard so many things when we were Tokornal and it just didn't stick. So that was one major criteria, obviously. And also that no one else had the name, and it just needed to look a little bit more sexy, than Tokornal, obviously. So Lunakills, we all like space stuff, we all like sci-fi science, so it was just a banger name, and we took it. So no major story behind it other than that.
That's not always necessary.
Yeah.
Now you're going to release your second album soon, next month. I've listened a little bit to both the older music and the new music, and it made me wonder, was there any different approach or anything you did different this time around for the album?
Quite a lot, actually.
Yeah. You wanna take it?
No.
Oh, okay, I can take it.
Just take it.
There was a quite different approach. Obviously, the music is very different. So we had a lot of time to mature in between the first and the second album. It's been 3 years.
3 years?
Yeah, 3
So
years.
long.
Yeah.
2018.
Yeah, and we had player lineup changes and everything like that, so we didn't actually have time to make the second album before this.
Yeah.
And obviously the lockdown period last spring, it changed everything because we couldn't go to rehearsal space. So we did the second album at my apartment in central Kuopio.
And pre-production.
Usually we jam together and make songs, so we did that pre-COVID. And when the lockdown started, we just started doing demos, recording demos, and that was a new approach because we have done obviously demos but not made songs, recorded them from scratch like that. So it was a pretty creative space, and also we didn't have any expectations, or we didn't want to set any frames of what we were doing together. So it was fun times, I would say.
Yeah.
We had more fun actually doing this album. And obviously we made these songs for this album, and the first album was made of songs we had done with a longer period of time, and we just wanted to like put them all together. So that was different this time around.
And like I have to say, when I listen to your older music, it has a bit more of a vibe of like straightforward old school like rock.
Yeah.
Well, this time around there's a lot of new elements and has a like way more modern sounds.
Yeah, definitely.
That was like just something that came about, or that was like something you were kind of aiming for?
Well, a bit of both, I guess. It just sort of happened, but also we were started aiming towards that direction when we realized, like, yeah, this sounds cool. Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, the way we listen music now is different than 3 years ago maybe, and it influenced a lot what we want to make also, and how we see music and what we want to bring in our music.
Yeah, and I think the one major part is that when we made the first album and the songs that we made for the first record, we were not as good as in songwriting that we are now. Obviously, there has been some evolving, and it was that kind of music that we then like knew how to make, and they were obviously our first songs that we ever did, like You and Me, for example.
Yeah.
So, and we did it like songwrite much in that time. Yeah. So that's quite impressive also, but but yeah, it's just evolution of our writing.
Because I think like with how your voice sounds, you could have easily kind of turned towards the kind of vintage rock that direction, but you kind of went the opposite way almost. Like there's still hints of it, but kind of like it that you went more towards the like, I don't know, alternative rock vibe. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, there's been a lot of like really good reactions to your new work lately, like the singles you released already.
Yeah. We were actually a little bit like, are people going to take it? Because, like you said, it's a little bit like more vintage stuff. And actually,
first album. Yeah.
And actually we were like reference to heart and blues pills and bands like that.
Yeah, classic rock stuff.
And I think that we didn't much appreciate like with songwriting. Obviously we appreciate that people love the first one, but it was very important to us that people received these singles so great, and because it's something we want to pursue. The alternative genre is something we want to pursue because we listen to that kind of music and obviously want to make something that we would also want to hear maybe.
And make something new.
New.
Because it's always fun to create and tackle something new that we've done before.
And kind of have also the feeling or the impression that lately in Finland there's been kind of like a small surge of bands that go like alternative rock, metal, like a little bit poppy rock maybe, but that kind of there's several bands that I can think of that go in that direction. There seems to be like something going in that direction in Finland.
It is, and I actually think that it's because of Bring Me the Horizon. Because they have influenced with their new stuff. I can hear it like in us, obviously, but a lot of bands, like you said, alternative rock bands, which I have discovered from Finland, I can see the inspiration. Obviously, there's lots of more bands, but I would say Bring Me the Horizon's albums, Amo and what was the before the record they released? That's the Spirit, those have influenced a lot of the rock genre here at the moment.
And globally as well.
It's
been they have grown as well huge, so it's no surprise.
It's kind of interesting to see in a country that is so well known for metal. But I think like you at the same time stick out, but at the same time you kind of fit with what's going on nowadays, so that's cool. I was also wondering, like, you said earlier that you're here to bring like joy in in life. But then the title of your album and your songs are kind of a little bit contradicting that maybe. So it made me wonder what are your main like inspirations for like the lyrics and the themes.
Yeah, the themes are very personal. Like, yeah, the joy part is pretty sarcastic, you know. But like with this album, especially, it was like the feelings when you are going through like bitterness or anger about, for example, relationships or anything like that. I started to look into that, and I wanted to be like honest with it. Because obviously you do feel jealousy and you do feel bitterness, but you just don't want to admit it because it would seem petty, or it would seem like you were weak or something like that. And I wanted to bring that into the songs because I think that would help me to process some of my own stuff that was going on, and it did. And it's quite bitter album, but it's worth it.
But then on the other hand, it could also help the people that become fans of you or listen to your music to deal with it and actually then bring joy in their life.
Yeah, that's one of like the goals, that someone can relate to that and find something from it. Yeah.
So let's hope that works out.
Yeah.
And I was wondering, like, it's next month that your album comes out. Do you have like any plans to do something around the release, like some release show or live thing? Because real life thing is kind of tricky still.
Well, it depends on the COVID situation, I guess.
Yeah.
A lot of, but maybe.
We are not like, haven't planned like any live stream or anything. We're just we're that kind of people that when the album comes, we probably go to McDonald's or Hesburger or something, and we take a meal like we always do every weekend, and be like, hey!
It's a party.
Then we are like wondering, okay, when can we go live? Because the live stream thing hasn't been like, for us, we haven't felt it yet. If this goes on longer, obviously we have to start doing them. But we are waiting for the live shows, and there is rumors that it might happen, like if the Finland, like from the government side, that it can be like end of the summer or next fall.
Well, last year a couple of summer festivals happened, so
So that's.
I mean, I'm hoping for August at least.
Yeah, we're just trying to squeeze in there and get the live show happening.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Yeah,
for
definitely.
all of us.
Yeah.
You earlier mentioned that like maybe Bring Me the Horizon has been an influence on your album. What would you say are like your other main influences, like musically, for you guys?
Well, biggest obviously is Muse.
Yeah.
We bonded pretty hard with their album, so.
And they got me liking Muse.
We're like fanatic Muse fans. But it's because of the experimental aspect to their music, and they have been reinventing themselves album from album. So it's always very inspiring when you make music. So that's definitely the biggest influence.
Biggest influence.
It's always inspirational to listen to one of their albums and be like, yeah, that's so cool. And the other album has some other elements, and you're like, I want to do that also, or something like that.
And with this album, obviously, we had Mick Gordon. He makes game music, Doom and Wolfenstein soundtracks, and we like to play those games. And he has some mean sounds, like he has like the Soviet era synthesizer, and he drives
through guitar
and it's so mean.
It's pretty wild. And
it's like we were going with the feeling when you're going to the boss fights and you start throwing Molotov cocktails. So that was something that we want to take on the heavier songs in the album.
Influence that part of the album.
Yeah. And we have a couple others in general, like Lana Del Rey is one of my vocal inspirations, not because of her deep like airy voice, and I haven't ever before I heard Lana like use that kind of vocal technique, so that's like my biggest influence in this era of music.
And of course we take influence and inspiration from almost everything we just happen to hear, so there aren't really that much of a certain bands or artists that we really like go for.
Yeah, it's so time dependent. So like, I have to think a year back. What was I even listening?
Yeah.
Yeah,
sure,
because
like,
it's very seasonal. Music
Yeah.
taste is very seasonal
Yeah.
for me. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like to discover new music
every
like
day, yeah.
every day, week. So
Yeah, it always, what you're listening at while you're writing, I'm guessing it always sort of influences you a little bit.
Yeah, that's true.
I think not too long ago I saw a band actually making a post on Facebook, like showing like setup of like a recording studio and like,
Yeah.
what do you guys want us to listen to while we're recording? Oh, that's a new approach.
Yeah, yeah.
that's
Well,
actually pretty cool.
Yeah. But we, when we were recording the second album, Tuomas Kokko, who recorded and mixed our album, he had this tradition that every day we start studio, he would take one of us to play the day's song. Like if Samuli had much solos, Samuli could choose the day's song, and if I had vocal day, I could choose, and we like listened to everybody's favorite music. So that was like pretty cool because we got into the mood and
Yeah.
That's cool.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's a good way to get everybody into somewhat inspired
Yeah,
Yeah.
and with different styles of
state
music.
of
Yeah.
mind. Yeah,
Mm.
so it was nice.
Okay, I think we're about there. Is
Yeah.
there anything you'd like to add still?
Listen, stream.
Yeah, I was just like that is like the joke, like what you want to say to fans. Obviously, go listen to us in Spotify, check out Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. We have that now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That too.
And I hope that everybody like has nice spring and summer and stay safe. And let's hope for the live shows to come back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you guys.
Thanks.